What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am coming at you from the Sheets in London, Ohio. I-70, exit 79. You got all kinds of truck stops around here. A TA and a Love's down the road. You got a Pilot and a Flying J kind of around this area. Now, I was just here maybe a week ago, and yeah, this place did get packed that night. So looks like people are up on this. There were people parked randomly all over the place last time I was here. So anyway, got a load going to Syracuse. And for everybody that's calling, you know, the terminal in Springfield the black hole or the Death Star, any of that kind of stuff, I've never had a problem getting out of there. And even yesterday, I had drivers line up calling me, trying to get me to take a load. But I was a little too busy at the time. I did get with my fleet manager and said, you know what, give me something for tomorrow. So he got me on this load, and he said the load's going to be here in like 4 hours. And I was like, you know what, let me hurry up and finish moving stuff into this truck, and let me run this load out tonight so I can relax on the back end. I'm probably gonna stop at the Waterloo, New York Petro tomorrow. I'd have to take a look, because maybe there's a TA that might be a little bit closer, or that Flying J that's a little bit closer down that way, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll look that up. But I do know the Petro 60 miles from my delivery. So what I want to talk about is a conversation that I had with a TNT student. And the reason I want to have this conversation is because there might be a lot of people that feel this way. And, you know, I just want everybody in training, regardless of what company you're going to understand that I just want everybody to understand that having some fear about certain situations is going to be kind of normal. And what his fear was bridges. And he said, you know, I'm fine with the regular bridges, but if they get too high or too long, you know, I get super nervous. And my trainer, you know, he doesn't really get upset, but he's driving like 45 miles an hour across a bridge. It's like a 65, 70 mile an hour bridge. So he asked me what my thoughts were on it. Now, first of all, a lot of people that are in trucking, whether they're trainers or just drivers, forget about what it was like going through training. And I probably would have forgot too if I didn't have a YouTube channel and, you know, refer back to my training days quite a bit, or you know, just bringing it up in conversation. I probably would have forgot some of the fears that I had. And the fear that I had, well, there's a couple, but the mountains in West Virginia and Pennsylvania, you know, if you go back to my old videos, I mentioned that, and then I mentioned, you know, how good I felt to overcome those fears. I think I even did a video at a TA in Pennsylvania. I think it's the one, I forget what city it is. It's the big TA, this super huge out there. I can't remember that name. But I did a video talking about how I was kicking ass like a jockey through those mountains in Pennsylvania. So the next fear that I had was, and all my students have had it too, is you know, the first time you're driving through some serious traffic. With me, it happened to be in that LA area. A lot of people, it might be Houston or Dallas or, you know, Atlanta, whatever it is. So as a trainer, it seems like the first time my trainees ever went through any of that kind of stuff was out in that LA area, and it almost always seems like a scene from what's that movie back in, anyway, it doesn't matter. So Clueless. So if you want to see what it's like to be a trainer, go Google Clueless highway scene, and that'll give you a good laugh. So anyway, his fears. Okay, so everybody has some fears. Whether it's bridges, congestion, mountains, you name it, everybody's had it at some point. Now, there might be some people out here that were just born to drive that never had any of these fears, but I would say that that's going to be the exception more than it is the rule. And everything gets better with time. As hard as it was for me to drive through the Pennsylvania, West Virginia mountains, during my early period in TNT, that's a distant memory at this point. I mean, now, I'm just ripping and running through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, all that stuff. So the more you do it, the easier it's going to be, regardless of whatever your fear is going to be. So, and if you think about it, your fear of, or anybody, if they have a fear of bridges, I mean, here's a good example. You might have a fear of bridges, and that fear may be what turns you into a better driver when you are hitting those bridges in inclement weather, going through them cities that, are not the easiest cities to be driving through when it's slick out there. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dallas, if it happens to be, that kind of weather. So your cautiousness could actually become an asset down the road. So don't look at everything like a negative. But like I said, chances are you're going to overcome it. Unless you're just one of them people that's always going to be afraid of bridges. And if that's the case, I don't know. Because, man, I never realized how many bridges there were. I mean, it seems like Ohio. That seems like the bridge capital of the world for some reason. It seems like, well, you never really notice the bridges until it's like inclement weather. But everywhere you go in Ohio has some damn bridges. But anyway, enough about that. Had a chance to talk to a bunch of people while I was up at the terminal. Had a chance to go out to dinner a couple times with a couple people, so that was good. But this moving out of trucks, I'm gonna tell you what, this is like the worst thing in the world. And I'm over here, and I don't even know what I was thinking, but I'm over here in this transfer station. If you work at Prime, you're familiar with it. But I was at the transfer station back behind Bay 47. So I'm like transferring my stuff, and this guy comes and says, how long are you gonna be? And say, maybe an hour max, whatever. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna park over here when you're done. Could you let me know? And I was like, sure. And then he's like, and then could you help me, could you give me a ride down here so I don't have to walk all the way to my other truck? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't have any realization that I was going to be ending up doubling up my walking because of what the help I was giving him. So anyway, that was my good deed for the day. But I thought there was another point I was trying to make. Now, I'm going to have hours back tonight at about 6 o'clock. I could I'm about, let's see.
You have 0 hours and 55 minutes of remaining drive time.
If I'm
Drive to road ahead on I-70.
I think I'm about 4.5 hours away from where I plan on stopping before I make my delivery. And this Petro always has spots, so I could leave as early as I want, but chances are I might just relax a little bit today because I'm gonna be a full 24 hours ahead on this load. So I might leave out of here at like midnight as opposed to 6:30 p.m., something like that. But you know, everybody, I know I'm rambling on, that's a bad thing, but you know, everybody has their superpowers and everybody has their kryptonite. You know, some people's superpower is they like to drive. I don't necessarily like to drive. Some people's superpower is, you know, they don't mind driving up in the Northeast. I mind driving up in the Northeast. Well, I don't mind Syracuse and all that, you know. But there's very few, what do they call them in baseball?
A new message.
5-tool players out there when it comes to trucking. Everybody has their kryptonite. It seems like the better the driver, the worse they are with some of the other things, logs, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, if you're going through TNT, realize that if you make it through TNT, you've probably went through the hardest part of your trucking career. It's all downhill after that, and that could be whether you're training at Prime, Sierra England, Swift, Rail, TMC, whoever. The training part is the hardest part. It's all downhill, and everything gets easier with repetition. So I'm beating that horse pretty dead about now, but just wanted to stop in here before I come back here and take a quick nap. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, you know what? I'll save that for another video. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.